episode of Texas Tales. It's about 7 o'clock. I just woke up like 30 minutes ago, and brother John are gonna go and shoot down in Granbury, Texas, and go shoot on Kyle's tree farm. Supposed to have a lot of cool trees on there, and it's supposed to be a really cool experience. And also, we're gonna go shoot at a drive-in movie theater in Granbury. So we're gonna go out and have a lot of fun today, and now I gotta get ready.
Bridges Haig, which his name came up pretty often a minute ago, and this is his mother, Mary Lee. Anytime we
it all started back in 1990. I think, 1990. Kyle said, let's start a tree farm. I said, why in the world would we do that? And he started talking about all the things that we could do with a tree farm, and for long, because he had the experience in the landscaping business. He had a degree in landscaping, right?
No, just
or you were taking
landscape.
But you had learned, you knew a lot about it. You had worked in the industry. And you knew about trees, and you love trees. Kyle's love for trees.
I thought I knew about it.
Kyle's love for trees is the reason we started the tree farm. He had the love for trees and all the tree knowledge, and we had
all
some
the
land. We were
enthusiasm.
friends.
I'm going to call it enthusiasm.
And Wiley,
we're still learning.
My stepfather, Mary Lee's late husband, Wiley Lilly, who bought this place in the 1950s, said, "Okay, you guys can do it." And I went up and looked at my cousin's tree farm, and that kind of inspired them a little bit to let us do it.
Your cousin in Oregon.
In Oregon had a tree farm, and we came back from that. Wiley said, "Okay." He learned a little bit about it and thought it was a viable business, and so we started.
Tried to talk us out of it briefly.
Yeah, I tried to talk us out of it, and in the fall of 1990, we planted our first tree. So that was how long ago? 23 years ago.
Wow.
It's easy to remember because my daughter was born 3 months before we planted our first tree. 1990.
Yeah, I'd mentioned when Wiley was
around.
Wiley kept us on our toes. I mean, there was not a lot of sitting around. If there was chores to be done, he was making sure. So, unfortunately, Wiley passed away too early. Still had a great life, but it was too early. And but he kept us on our toes. He was something else. And, it's so fortunate to grow up around something like that. You don't realize how much you learn until you get to grow up around somebody that really knows it. So it was. You just realize that as the older you get, how fortunate you are, some of the people you get to grow up with. So he was a dandy.
But it's his Memorial Day. I'm seeing him being in the Air Force.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He flew his airplane under the bridge in Glen Rose. He was
cleared 6 feet on each wingtip.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to do that.
And he was sort of wild when he was growing
up.
Wild
in the March hare.
He wound up with a sweet little lady, a sweet young girl. So I don't know.
She was just as wild.
He must have changed his ways right there when he decided to get married.
Well, he did.
I was telling them, Wiley, when we were getting ready to start, and Wiley liked partners, and he knew they were, like a wife, or, when you get a partnership, it's a lot like having a wife or something. You got to have a good partner or you never work out. But Wiley took us up on top of the hill to look for a spot to plant these trees, and where he took us, it was sandy, real sandy, and of course, I don't think you could ever, you may grow a tree up there, but you couldn't maul it and harvest it, so I think if we would have said this spot's fine, he never would have let us do it. He took us up there to see if we were going to plant trees on that sandy hilltop.
We were done from
the get-go, and so. But then he took us to probably as good a richest soil, like I was talking about earlier, that you'll ever find. That's why these trees. These trees grow fast out here, or our tree farm never would have made it if we were in
these trees are come up in the last few years.
Right. Well, we planted these oak trees.
A few years being May 8 or 10 though, Mary Lee, unfortunately.
Well, yes, but that's pretty fast.
And I was talking to them about getting out of the business world. I worked at a company 20 years. We've been growing trees for 20 years.
Right.
In another 20 years, I'm going to be 75, and the game over not too long after that. Wiley was 73. wasn't he?
74.
74. So, you know,
There's an old
if you're-
Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree is today. The second best time was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So we got both
We got-
we got them both covered.
You know, it's interesting. It's been interesting, and anybody that's starting a tree farm
Better get ready to work.
better get ready because
I remember one time Kyle and I were working in a tree farm, and we started with a lot of enthusiasm, but with the realities of any business are always different than the dreams. And we came walking up from the tree farm one day. We looked pretty tired.
we were beat.
We were pretty beat. And
things have gone down. It was
Wiley
bad
was sitting
day.
on the front porch, and he said, "The fun's going out of the tree business."
And we didn't laugh. We walked right by him, and he knew. But you know, if you're farming, the rewards are wonderful, and
You
You
deal
know,
with
if
a
you-
lot of things when you deal with Mother Nature.
yeah, we'd like the big bur oak
She's
we just
tougher
looked
than
at.
people.
Mother Nature, that tree's a 300-year-old tree, and in the last 2 years, Mother Nature gave it a little whack. So, just like we all can get. Anyway, it's interesting information. I mean, I don't know if it's interesting information. We're sitting here talking about our
We started out partners having parties together with our friend Kirk Lancaster.
yeah.
When my parents had their big party behind here, when they built this house, they started having parties. One year it didn't rain for 18 months or something, so they had something called they were so frustrated they decided just to have a party.
Rain dance.
And it was called the Dust Bust. And it was intended just to
It was a
just
dust
to, just
bust and we
to
had
we're
a
gonna,
rain
even if
dance.
we're dolled down, we're gonna celebrate anyway. So from that they started having that party every year, and so we got sitting around going, man, this place sure looks nice when they're done and there's food left over. Let's have a party the very next weekend. We'll use
Grass is
We'll use their
mowed.
leftover food and the fact that we got the place looking in ship shape, and so we started having our party. And our party got bigger and bigger, and as they got older and older, theirs got smaller and smaller. And I think we had our last one in '92, and fed 250 chicken halves, and they were all eaten. Most people split them, so it was a big crowd.
And 2 people met and got married that were at the party here. They met here and got married, and they're still married.
Two different couples, right?
2 different couples, yeah. So
Yeah, there was a big party we had every summer. We cook over on that smoker over there. They would cook 40 briskets, and then we would cook 250 chicken halves.
you know, you talk to farmers. I guess we're farmers, but the farmers you'll talk to are the old farmers, and those are the ones that can tell you what
That
you're in
reminds
for.
me, Farmers.com. If you're looking for a girlfriend, Farmers.com. They have nothing but farm girls.
Yeah.
I saw
Good
that last night. I
idea.
thought about you. Farmers.com.
Okay. Anyway, that's sort of how our tree farm got started, and it's been we plant trees. We go out. When you start a tree farm, either you don't make it or you don't quit because
That's well said.
because either you got trees for sale or you didn't make it. And once you've made it, the work starts because you've got to get out. You've got to market them. You don't take your like corn or wheat or milk. You don't just drop it off somewhere like we talked about. You got to go sell them and you got to go plant them. And so anyway, I found a way to get out of the city, and it kept me busy. And fortunate enough, I've got a great friend and great family here to been part of for a while, so it's worked out well. Been a lot of fun.
It's been fun seeing the trees.
You got to call me if you're going to start a tree farm. And the guy didn't talk me out of it. If he would have, there was, I don't know, Bridges always was would come up with some good information when I was, sick to my stomach over the deal. Or we probably wouldn't still be doing it because he always seemed to, if he would have been as down as I was, we'd have quit. And so we kept going, and we're over the hump. But it's a tough gig. It is. It's hard to get going.
But it's nice when you drive around town and you see all the trees that you
Yeah,
planted.
I was telling him I can go drive around Fort Worth, Arlington, Dallas. Not as much in Dallas. We don't like going there; it's too crowded. But anyway, we
donate
make
a
a
lot
lot
of
of people
trees to
happy. We replace our trees if they die,
To the museum.
and we're in it to make people happy. If the customer comes out and spends the money for the trees and they have problems with them, we replace them for them. And if we didn't, they'd tell 5 people how cruddy we were, and if we replace them, they tell 10 people how good we are. So it's marketing to take care of your customer, and because we've both sort of done it as a hobby. But if we can't be successful and make people happy, we're in the wrong business.
Right.
Our last quarter to half of our life, we're half through. So you gotta do things right and make people happy, or you're wasting your time. And that's why in you guys' business.
Right. Same way.
Not to sit there
Exactly
and
the
turn these
same.
cameras around. If you guys are young guys, not that young, but good attitudes and hard work, y'all, like you said, your teachers will be working for you,
Right.
and
yeah.
like they had mentioned.
Oh, happy day.
Hey, we're going to run to Glen Rose. These guys have not been to Glen Rose. We're going to
Good,
show
you
them a
got a
little
lot to
bit.
see.
We're going to sweep out the dinosaur tracks behind the house in Russell.
Oh, good.
And
that's cool.
see if we can get a picture of the dinosaur tracks so they'll know something about Glen Rose. They've never been to Glen Rose.
Never been
to Glen Rose. They're right down the street.
Never been there.
I thought they'd gone the wrong way when they were coming down.
Well, now you found something, right?
Right.
It's pretty cool down
We
there.
did.
You'll enjoy
It's very
coming back.
cool.
See how they're digging and balling the burlap?
Yeah.
These trees have been here, some of them been here about 12 years, 15 years. Anyway, we started this tree farm in 1989, and we were looking for a way to get out of the city, right?
Yeah.
We found it. My friend Bridges, this is his range. And he gave me a place to plant these trees years ago and wanted to go in on planting trees, so we did it 20 years ago. It's been a lot of work. You inherit these things, you don't start them.
Oh yeah.
I figured that out pretty quick. But it's fun. We got thousands of trees we've planted.
So do you and your brother both like work on it, or just you?
Keller's not in all this. He does his own deal down the street. He's not in the tree business. Me and Bridget both retired from our jobs and started doing this. I was in the aircraft business, and he was in the computer business.
Oh, okay.
So we started this. And Wiley Lilly was his father who owns this ranch. And this where we're going is we're going to Wiley's overlook.
Is overlook?
Wiley Lilly's overlook. You'll like it. Sort of overlooks the farm. If our machine makes it, it's been on the blink. Look at this little porch up here. Check this out here. Good place to watch the storms come in. When we first started, of course, this is the trees down in here, and this was those were all just little bleak green dots. Those trees were about this big when we planted them, and now as you'll see when we get down there how big they've gotten. But there's Glen Rose. Y'all came from Granbury back this way. That's corn growing out there. And this is grass, turf grass out there, but all along there is the river. This place is sort of surrounded by the Brazos River. It runs around, completely around this place on the bottom. And there's two beautiful trees down there I want to show y'all while y'all are down here. They're
It's really beautiful out here.
gigantic trees. Pretty, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very cool.
We used to be able to come here and watch our workers, but now they're in the trees. We can't see them anymore. So we just take it. They're down there working. Anyway, it's a lot of work planting these trees. Like I said, those have been in the ground. A lot of these have been in the ground 20 years. And this scenery changes every year. You really want your tree farm to look sort of barren. These trees are getting a pretty good size, so you'll see we've got great big trees in there to move. And so we're looking to thin it out. If not, we're going to turn this into sort of like a forest. We're going to thin it out and keep some of the bigger ones and thin it out again. And Indians up here on top of these hills over here, big Indian campgrounds back in the past. There was lots of arrowheads and all kinds of good artifacts found on those hillsides out there. We were looking for a way to get out of the city instead of going back and forth and sit behind a desk, and so we did find a way. We planted these trees and they take daily, weekly nurturing, so we have found our way out of the city and get to plant trees one or two at a time for 3 or 4 at a time for people down here and really enjoy it. It's been a lot of work and the rewards are simple, but they're really meaningful. They're really neat to see these trees grow from something as small as your finger to something you can't wrap your arms around. Here it is.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at this.
Hey, let me get over and get a picture.
Yeah, you got to look at this tree and look what happened over here. Look at the size. If you measure this tree around, looking at the trunk of this tree with me in it. Look at this live oak. So those little trees out there, if you let them do their deal, and they get lucky, they get this tree's seen a lot. And this was here in the Civil War days plus. But this is one of the biggest live oak trees in Texas right here. Yeah. You notice when a cow's chewing its cud is what they call it. They'll get some grass in their mouth and their mouth just moves. They're just sitting there chewing it. Well, there's a girl that came down, a friend of Bridges came down, it's this girl, and she asked if the cows would charge you. And he goes, not until you see them chewing. See, look at that cow. Can you see it just chewing? See how it's just chewing? He goes, if they just start chewing, then they're getting ready to attack. Well, he brings this girl down here, and they're sitting there looking at these cows, and she goes, they're doing it.
They're all doing.
Over there is where the Paluxy River runs into the Brazos, and where the Squaw Creek runs into the Brazos. So they call that Tres Rios because there's three rivers that come together right here. They don't look like rivers anymore. This was a gradual drop down to a sandy beach, and the river was over there. The Paluxy gets up and brings in a lot of silt coming down. It was really high. The Brazos wasn't. Brought all this sandbar in here, brought the sandbar in, and it rerouted this river. And we started coming over here and then took this side of the bank off. And it's liable to get back up and do it all over again. And take this, bring this bank, bring this back, and take the river back on that side. It used to run around those big rocks over there. It still does, but it's not like it. You know, a lot of it's on this side.
And recently in Granbury there's been storms and tornadoes, and this is one of the houses that got hit by the tornadoes that have been forming in here in Granbury. And as you can see, it's pretty bad. They're having a cleanup right now to help clean up the families that have lost their homes and all their belongings, and they're helping them to find whatever they can that is left from the destruction of the tornadoes. So we're gonna drive around and just let you guys see how much damage these tornadoes can really do.
Baby, I can see just what's on your mind. Baby, I can see just what's on your mind. You got a long black woman with a gold teeth in her face. I take a long look right smack down in your mind. I take a long look right smack down in your mind. I don't see poor Papa no matter up and down the line. Don't kid your mama, you ain't fooling nobody but yourself. I don't kid your mama, you ain't fooling nobody but yourself. And when I see on your mind, you would not have no friend. I remember a day when I was living at Lula Town. I remember a day dance for both.